This robot, called Charlie, may one day explore the moon. Professor Wolfgang Walster is Chief Executive Advisor at the German Research Centre for Artificial Intelligence, where Charlie was designed. But Walster points out that robots can also have practical applications in everyday life.
Digital technology and artificial intelligence are transforming our society, and more changes are coming. I hope that all of them are positive.
Right now, Professor Walster is on his way to the Research Centre's Berlin office. He's going to host an open house event there today. Walster has spent decades studying artificial intelligence, or AI for short. AI involves computers that can understand human language, machines that can learn, and the factory technology of the future. Sensors like these can help tractor drivers with the harvest. Smart systems allow paramedics to practice emergency procedures. And specially designed walkers can help elderly people stay on their feet. AI seems to be everywhere.
We need to explain AI more fully to the public. I give lectures on this topic quite often. Simply put, AI is an attempt to recreate human intelligence in computers.
AI can help machines and robots adapt to unpredictable situations.
What's interesting about these robots is that if a technical problem turns up, they can heal themselves. This is an example of sensomotoric intelligence. It's similar to the regeneration process in scorpions or salamanders. If they're attacked and give up their tails to escape, they can grow a new one and move on.
Eva Ortel is testing an intelligent technology device, smart glasses, that are linked to a wristband that measures her stress level. Eva is 80 years old and lives in Berlin. She's taking part in studies conducted by the Charité Medical Center on how this kind of technology can make life easier for older people.
I'd heard that they were developing a lot of these sophisticated devices, so I thought I'd give it a try. People complain a lot about their problems, but they don't do anything about it. So I did.
The glasses and wristband are hooked up to a data network via mobile phone, so she gets regular updates in her field of vision. This system could be especially helpful for seniors. A sensor in the wristband measures their pulse, temperature and skin conductivity. If the data indicates stress, a warning appears in the lens of the glasses. But Eva is not particularly impressed with the technology.
Do I really need this sort of thing? Glasses that remind me to take my medicine?
Eva is now on her way to the medical centre. She'll talk to the researchers about her experiences with the high-tech devices and try out some new ones. Eva can still get around pretty well on her own, but she's worried that in the future, much of the senior care sector will be taken over by AI technology.
Maybe if you're confined to your bed and you can't do anything on your own, it might be helpful if a robot could hand you a glass of water. But let's be honest, when people reach a certain age, what they really want is for a nurse to stop by and chat with them.
So, dann fertig machen wir die Schmiernippel.
Marco Good loves old-fashioned technology, but he also enjoys working with new devices. He's an applications engineer and lives in the town of Herschweiler-Pettersheim in southwestern Germany. Right now, he's updating his tractor with new digital sensors.
Jawohl. Der Reiz liegt bei mir darin,
Years ago, I had a pretty good idea of how technology was going to change our future. And now I can actually use new software and hardware to make those things happen.
Letztlich überhaupt umsetzen kann. Komm, dann messen wir mal die Ladespannung von der Lichtmaschine. Dazu nutzen wir das Oszilloskop.
He's hooked the tractor up to a computer. Marco thinks that artificial intelligence could be used with farm equipment to create a system that makes smart decisions.
Wir haben hier einen 60 Jahre alten
I just installed some sensors on this 60-year-old tractor. That shows that you can update old equipment with new technology.
Vernetzen und auch überwachen.
Artificial intelligence is becoming more and more common in our lives. For example, web-based navigation systems can coordinate data from other users to provide accurate traffic reports.
Geradeaus auf L350.
At home, at work, or on the road.
Wenn ich jetzt gerade an Situationen
Think
denke,
about a traffic jam on the freeway.
bevor dann ein Auto
The
oder
vehicles that are in the area are connected with each other and can give everyone information about it, so you can choose another route. They can also warn other drivers about bad weather conditions, like fog. This technology could also help people who have physical disabilities, so that they can increase their mobility.
Scientists at the German Research Centre for Artificial Intelligence in Saarbrücken are working with a company called Nuance Communications to develop the high-tech cars of tomorrow. Professor Walster says the car responds to the driver's gestures and spoken commands.
That is the High Line. It is a park.
We can indicate what we want with our eyes, and the system will figure out what we're looking at. Combine that with a spoken command, and the system will take care of the rest. Let's say you're driving by a restaurant. You look at it and ask where you can park or whether they serve steak, and the system gives you an answer.
Nuance researcher Niels Lindke helped to design this test vehicle. It's outfitted with cameras that are focused on the driver. Special software detects head and eye movements and uses GPS and web data to figure out where the driver wants to go. Lindke says this technology will help Germany stay among the world's leading car exporters.
In 10 years, most cars will be electric, and these vehicles will be defined by their technology, not by the type of engine. And AI will allow us to stay competitive.
But the use of AI in cars raises serious questions. What if a child suddenly runs onto the street? A computer will have to decide how to respond. Should the car swerve and put other pedestrians at risk? Where does the responsibility lie?
The manufacturer might be held liable because the technology could not properly deal with that situation. The company that sold the technology did not take into account, for example, that animals sometimes jump onto the road at night. And if someone files a lawsuit, the company's insurance provider would be liable for any damages.
Meanwhile, Eva Ortel has arrived at the Charité Medical Centre. She has an appointment with a member of the facility's working group on ageing and technology, Dr. Anneke Steinert. Dr. Steinert realises that some seniors have trouble adjusting to this technology.
Many manufacturers claim that their devices can be operated in an intuitive and user-friendly way. And that may be true for most people. But what about an older person who's never used a touchpad on a smartphone or a similar mobile device? It's not going to be very user-friendly for them.
In the research laboratory, Eva and nurse Michael Mehner are testing an intelligent bed pad. The pad is designed to warn the medical staff in case of emergencies. For example, when patients wet themselves. The pad is outfitted with a device that alerts a caregiver. The device also sends a message when the patient leaves the bed unexpectedly. All of these incidents are recorded in a log file. That means less work for the nursing staff. Still, Michael says that these devices won't replace humans.
If you're on the night shift, you'll be lucky to have 2 nurses for 34 patients. What if all 34 of the alarms go off? So you have to look at this technology carefully and decide whether it's something that you'll want to use.
He also doubts that AI will be able to help deal with increasing staff shortages at hospitals.
It just won't happen. There are too many jobs that can only be done by people. Technology will never be able to replace them.
Charlie, the prototype moon robot, represents a less controversial kind of technology. Professor Walster is meeting with experts at the Bremen headquarters of the German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence. The robot can cope with uneven terrain better than vehicles with wheels can. Charlie could be used in situations that would be extremely dangerous for humans.
For example, hostile environments like space or the deep sea. It's extremely difficult for humans to work at the bottom of the ocean. But scientists want to find out more about the biological and geological structures there. Also, studies have shown that the use of robots in these extreme environments is a lot cheaper than using humans. And robots could be sent to disaster areas, to places where there's been an earthquake, a major fire, or a typhoon, to help search for survivors in the affected areas. They could also be deployed in nuclear disaster zones, where humans would face deadly risks.
But the science of industrial robotics is still at an early stage. Right now, Charlie has developed a technical problem, so the scientists try to fix it. That's easy here in the lab, but it would be impossible to do repairs if he were on the moon.
He'd be dead, essentially. But that's a fairly minor problem compared to the other complications that we have to deal with, like how the robot would function long term. It's not pre-programmed, so how would it handle unexpected situations? At this point, they're just not capable of doing that.
Artificial intelligence is fueling a revolution in the workplace. It's called Industry 4.0. And Marco Gruth is right in the middle of it. He's come to the Bosch Rexroth factory in Hamburg to find out more about how smart technology is replacing conventional machines. Marco has developed a new process that allows computers to continuously monitor the purity of machine oil. The oil used to be checked by hand at regular intervals. Marco says this system increases efficiency and productivity.
Intelligent technology allows you to take a proactive approach. We can use trend analysis to study the oil samples and identify and correct any problems.
Plant manager Frank Hess is excited about these new developments. But what about the workers?
I can understand why they're worried about their jobs, but there's really no cause for concern. We still need people to do analysis reports. We can use the cloud to keep track of the measurement data, and that will give the employees more time to work on system maintenance and to spot problems.
Workers on this multi-product assembly line are installing electro-hydraulic valves for farm machinery. 200 different options are available, depending on customer requirements. Workers consult a digital assembly plan during the production process, and it tells them how to install the individual parts. Artificial intelligence helps this system to operate at maximum efficiency.
We have all the data at our disposal in real time, including the product characteristics, the position of the product in the assembly process, and system conditions. We use AI to bring all that data together so that the employees can see what the next step in production is going to be.
There's an important visitor at the Bosch Rexford plant today, Professor Wolfgang Walster. He's played a key role in developing the German concept for the future of work. The digital networking of labour, machines and products is now commonly referred to as the Fourth Industrial Revolution.
This allows us to focus on every stage of production and make corrections at once where necessary.
We've been using this technology to monitor temperature and other system conditions.
The introduction of all this new technology has placed enormous demands on workers. But without it, Germany will fall behind the rest of the world when it comes to industrial production.
That would be a disaster for us. We'd have to export a lot of these jobs to low-wage countries. Production would collapse. We're using Industry 4.0 to try to avoid all that. We need a technological revolution to help Germany stay on top.
But in other industries, the use of artificial intelligence will almost certainly lead to painful job cuts.
I think that's going to be the case in the banking and insurance sectors, for example. A lot of that work can be done by smart machines. In the future, banks will essentially consist of huge computers and some specialists to handle certain financial transactions. But most jobs that involve everyday tasks like booking, rebooking, and handling cash payments will disappear.
Now, Professor Walster has come to the Charité Medical Center in Berlin. He's here to find out more about the facility's aging and technology program. Eva Ortel is going to test an intelligent knitted vest designed by the AI Research Center. Sensors in the vest detect body movements and muscle activity. An app stores the data and indicates whether Eva is getting enough exercise. But the patient is a bit skeptical.
I suppose it's okay, but I'm not sure what it's supposed to do. I'll just have to trust you.
You can see that yesterday she spent a lot of time sitting down, but today she's moving around more.
We could use it in our exercise programs for seniors to document and analyze their movements, so you don't have to guess.
The vest would also help improve patient safety. For example, if a person falls down, that will be recorded by the sensors in the vest. And then, if the patient can't get up, the system can send out an alert to a doctor, other healthcare professionals, or a relative. Then they'll get a message. Your mother has fallen down.
I really don't think I need all this just yet, and I have my doubts about it. So it records your every step. At the end of the day, who really cares? My doctor's not going to look at all this data. Maybe the professor will, but my doctor certainly doesn't care how much I've been moving around, at home or out on the street.
I really got involved with this project because both my parents lived in nursing homes late in their lives. And back then, this sort of technology hadn't been developed yet. I've come up with a few ideas, but I wish that these sorts of systems had been in place when my parents were still alive.
Today, the German Research Centre for Artificial Intelligence is celebrating its 30th anniversary. The centre is now the largest research facility of its kind in the world. It has created more than 90 spin-off companies and is also involved in numerous cooperative research projects. The centre stays focused on the future and the risks that are involved in the development of AI, including the use of smart weapon systems and the misuse of sensitive personal data.
The US takes a pretty relaxed approach to this situation, China even more so. But the dangers are definitely there. For example, what if populism continues to spread? Anyone can use this technology to their advantage. But I think it would be a mistake for us to discontinue our research.
Tonight, Walster can look back over a professional career that spans 4 decades. He's had many remarkable successes, but he also concedes that he's made some mistakes along the way.
When we were just starting out, we kept trying to find a single algorithm that would mirror the human thought process. That was a spectacular flop. You can't reduce human thought to a single pattern. And the more I work with AI, the more I respect human intelligence. I've changed my attitude.
Meanwhile, Eva Ortel has agreed to take part in more AI tests at the Charité Medical Centre. But she still has a lot of concerns about this new technology and how others might use it.
I think you have to be very careful. People can learn a lot about you. I mean, your life becomes more transparent. So there are 2 sides to this, no matter which generation you belong to.
And indeed, artificial intelligence is playing an ever larger role in the lives of young people. Marco Gut believes that one day he'll have to ask his children to explain the latest technology to him. AI is here to stay, and it will continue to influence society.
I think
the transition will be gradual. People will switch over to AI at home or at work as it becomes necessary. They'll get used to the technology, and eventually they'll accept it as the new normal.
Professor Walster will continue his research, even in retirement. He's determined to perfect the process of artificial intelligence. He sees himself as an innovator, not a creator.
We do not interfere with human biological systems. We reproduce intelligence patterns. That's the big difference between us and the biotechnology sector. Everything we do is based on data that we get from sensors. It has nothing to do with biology.
Siliziumbasis ausführen und das hat mit Biologie nichts zu tun. Wolkenfrei, man sieht es sicher.
It's a clear night, and there's a crescent moon. In a few years, I can just imagine it. Charlie running around on the moon.